What's up, everybody? It's Rumi Ryan with Black Author Brand, and I am excited about tonight. Oh, yeah. Now, y'all know I'm always excited, but tonight is special. For those of you who know, I love conversation. I love talking to Black authors, but there's something special in my heart for Black female writers. And tonight, not only do we have a Black female writer, but she is a Black poet. Oh my gosh. I want you guys to put your hands together wherever you are, tune in, because tonight Poet Spotlight features Miss Kristina Byas. Kristina, what's up, girl?
Yeah. Hi.
It is such a pleasure to have you here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it real, y'all. I have sent a voice note to Kristina on Instagram. If I had her phone number, I would have texted her because I have been buzzing about this conversation. I interview authors all the time. I just feel like there are some nuggets of wisdom, and there's a certain perspective that you have that other writers and other authors don't have. So before we even start, I just want you to know I'm excited. I'm excited to pick your brain, to get inside your mind.
I'm
And
ready. I'm
really?
ready.
Okay, good. I'll start with something simple.
Mhm.
Why do you write?
That's not a simple question.
I know. It's not. It is not.
So I've been writing since I was maybe 13, 14, and poetry was my first love. So yes, there was this website, poetry.com. I used to kind of submit my work on there and,
I
you did that too?
remember poetry.com, yo.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
So,
taking it back. I remember that.
yeah. And they'd be like, oh, you won this contest. I don't know if I actually won or if they said that to everybody, but it started there. And it was really just a way for me to process my emotions and the things that were going on around me, whether it's, stuff going on with friends or, some little crush I had on somebody's son, stuff going on with family. It was, kind of like a way to just it was my form of journaling. As I've gotten older, I was kind of like, is there a way to allow this to be more of a collective healing
Mm.
and bring other people in and share my experiences with them in a hope that they can also heal? It's one of those things where you're not the only person going through something, but it's nice to actually read something or hear that there are other people experiencing these things. And it may not be exactly the same thing because everyone's experiences are unique. But there's been times where I am saying something and it resonates with them. It might not be, like I said, right in line with what they're experiencing, but it's kind of like you're giving me a new perspective on how to look at this situation. I appreciate that. I write for healing myself and to heal others.
I'm trying to hold myself. I have experienced that modality of healing. Why do you think healing pairs well with writing? Like, do you think that you have encountered healing in other ways besides writing? And what makes writing such an avenue of healing for you?
I can be a visual person. And so rather than having all these thoughts swirling around in my head, it's like, let me write it down. Something about I'm upset about this or I'm hurt about this in a way kind of gives it less power. When it's in my brain and in my body, I feel like I'm feeling it way more, but I'm letting it out. Almost like I finally admitted this. Because,
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
it's like, I don't like feeling this way. You're kind of rejecting the feelings, but it's like an acceptance of what's going on, where it's like, it's okay that I feel this way now that I've finally been honest about it. And how can I move forward from this emotion?
Okay, healing, the way people talk about it these days, healing is powerful. Kudos for healing,
Mhm,
yes. In my
mhm.
personal life, healing is not attractive. It is ugly and very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, how have you embraced the publicity of your writing as your instrument of healing?
I mean, I like to think I'm just a vulnerable person in everyday life. So I've kind of been happy that what I've written has been received so well and helping people.
I struggle with vulnerability
Mhm,
publicly.
mhm,
There are moments of vulnerability privately I'm perfectly fine with. But sometimes that vulnerability in the form of writing in a medium you can't take back, people can read and engage with. It makes me feel like a thrilling sensation when there's
mhm.
resonance with it, when people resonate with it.
Yeah.
But I also get the creeps because, like you said, this is me on a page. These are my thoughts.
Mhm,
This is what I'm feeling. And I've experienced a level of vulnerability in reading your work that is very warm. That's the word I'm thinking.
okay.
It's very warm. And I feel like, what's up, y'all? Rumi Ryan here, getting ready to. Okay, y'all, this video was about how I felt before interviewing this amazing Black female poet. Her name is Kristina Byas. But that's not why I'm here. Do y'all see the shirt? What I want you to focus in on is how dope the shirt is. If you don't know, on our website, blackauthorbrand.com, you can go and get this shirt, Black Poet. We have different sizes, different colors. We also have our premier Black author collection and so much more. I implore you to wear your voice. If you are a Black author, a Black writer, a Black poet, if you know a Black writer, Black author, or Black poet, please connect us with them. We are looking for you. And wherever you are, whenever you get the opportunity, wear your voice. All right. Thank you for allowing me to do this little voiceover because I wanted to show y'all the shirt, but I also wanted to tell y'all about this amazing interview. Poet Spotlight. Kristina is coming soon. Peace. You leave space and you have a cadence. And I know I'm like geeking out like a fan, but I don't care because I'm a fan of
No,
yours.
I love it.
There's a piece you have called Yearning. I have read that thing over and over again. The warmth of your vulnerability. Sometimes, we might hear a line that, says, the dark room and chocolate aroma, all of those words of imagery really invocate warmth. But with your poetry, there's a subtle cadence. Wherever you guys are watching this, please go to her Instagram. She has a clip, an excerpt of this piece, Yearning. And what the part I get stuck on is your use of, I believe it's alliteration. In the second line, it says something like the flickering flowers, or like it's warm, but then you'll
All
have
the flickering flames.
you'll have this grammatical nuance that gives a cadence. So it's like warm. It feels like a grounding drum as I read your poetry. And I want to say, as a fan of your work, it really provides a nice soothing to the vulnerability that I feel while reading your work. And I wonder, do you know that you're doing this when you're writing, or is it just what comes out?
I would like to think that I'm offering people that safe space where whatever emotions come up while they're reading the word. Yes, in a way.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up. I really do enjoy that piece. What are you working on now?
Right now, I am in the process of getting some collabs going with other poets, something that I've done in the past. I've collabed with a handful of poets that I've met on Instagram since joining the poetry community on there like 2 years ago, because I've only been sharing my poetry since 2023.
Really?
So, yeah.
So you were writing before 2023. What did something change to cause you to say, "Hey, I want to be out there"? What happened?
I think it was really just that thought of this, what I have to say could potentially help other people. I'm not the only person who's had their heart broken by
Yes.
a lover or a friend. I'm not the only person who's lost a family member or, whatever the topic is of my work. I'm like, I know there's other people out there who have experienced this as well. And so it was kind of like, I want to share this. There was also kind of like, this is too good not to share. So
Come on. Yes.
like I need y'all to read this. So it was a very interesting reception into the poetry world because the first day I shared my poem, I had also submitted a piece to Voices in Power. They were doing their Word Wednesday. That piece got selected. And so it got shared on there. So I was like, oh my God, I meant to
Yes,
do this.
that's what's up. So did you have to perform? Like what happened from that acceptance?
It was a written piece
Okay.
for Word Wednesday for them. So, because
Wow.
I think they were doing two written pieces
Mhm.
from two different poets and then two performances.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I submitted to the written word category.
Congratulations. I know I'm
It
super
was,
late, but
it
I
was
think that's so
exciting.
awesome. You mentioned something, and I want to just poke your brain here a little bit. And I asked this question to poets specifically. Do you feel like you are a spoken word artist? Like for your work, are you the type of poet that says, my words are enough? I'm not the type to get up on an open mic. Or is there a part of you that says, yeah, I enjoy performing my poetry public, or maybe hearing someone else recite your poetry? Where do you fall in that spectrum?
I consider myself a reader. If I make a reel or I share a TikTok of me reading my poetry, that is just how I'm going to perform it. I have not tried spoken word. My writing tends to be pretty short, similar to my memory. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll get up there and, like, wait, what was that next line?
Yeah.
It would take some practice, but I'd be interested in trying it one day. But I'm more of a reader.
I get it. Well, I'll say that as a fan, there's nothing lost in your poetry being read or just in a two-dimensional space of words, because just reading your work, it is profound. And I tell people all the time, the poets that write, epilogues or poems that are 4 and 5 pages, no shade to the people who write long poems. That's cool. I
Mhm.
fall right in the middle. But you got to watch out for the ones who write very short poetry. It is so heavy. I told you, like, after reading Yearning, I just spun because I think it takes a huge amount of creative effort. One, to know when to stop. But some writers, they don't know when to stop. But also to include so much with the right amount. And I think
Mhm.
I know you've mastered the art of that. I even say, like, that's your style. I love the length of your poems. They are profound. And so I can't tell you what to do, but if you jump out of the spoken word, great. But your words, they hit just as hard, if not harder, being read, not only in the word choice, the cadence, the use of alliteration. It's a tease. I hope that's okay to say. It's very arousing. It
Mhm.
makes you want more, but also not touch it. You know how you make the
Yeah.
perfect dish, like you might be making some potatoes and it's like, I could add some more salt, but I don't really want to mess it up. It makes you want to come back for more. So I really do enjoy your work. What would you say is your greatest challenge as a Black author? What's up, y'all? It's Rumi Ryan with Black Author Brand. We have been asking you all for years, how can we support you? How can we help? What are some of the challenges and struggles you face as a Black writer or a Black poet or just a Black creative? And you guys have given us all kinds of answers: accountability, community, development, publishing, motivation, inspiration, and we have crafted the perfect solution. It's an experiment called Writers Who Finish. It's an 8-week accountability program that I would love for you to be a part of. It involves weekly calls, emails, texts, and most importantly, finishing your work. So many writers struggle to complete the task. Life happens, unexpected things, lose motivation, struggle to find your way. We have a community that will help you finish. If you want to know more information, if you're excited about it and you're looking to get involved, you can click the link below. You can also email blackauthorbrand@gmail.com, or you can send us a message here. Can't wait to hear from you guys, and I'm looking forward to finishing with you.
I think trying to find my space. I want to make sure I am always coming at things authentically, doing what feels good to me and what suits my writing. I'm always looking out for different opportunities and submitting to places. And so I'm still trying to figure out where my writing belongs, if it's going to be beyond what I'm publishing and what I'm sharing online on those platforms. So, if I'm submitting to a lit journal or magazine, if they say no, which they do all the time,
They do.
that's not a place for my writing, then I am completely fine with that. And so I know there's thousands of other places for my work to call home. And so I'm still trying to figure out what that is.
I think that other authors need to hear that because a lot of times we feel like we have to have it figured out. And
Mhm,
even authors that I've talked to that have a set niche or they know, okay, hey, I'm going to be in romance fantasy fiction. You'll be
mhm,
surprised at the number of 13-year-olds that gravitate to your work. Even when we have a dedicated intention, sometimes life spirit takes things in another way.
mhm.
And I wonder how much more confident we all could be if we just
Yeah.
kind of rode that wave. To hear you say that you are still finding out where your work belongs after all that you've done so far in writing, you have pieces that have been accepted by Voices of Power, which is huge. I want the other writers, the other authors to listen and hear because it's all a journey for all of us.
Right.
And we don't always know when our quote unquote big break is going to happen. It's in those moments where, someone says, like, "Yeah, I read Yearning and man, it unlocked something for me." And then it could be, hey, we're going to showcase your book in, I don't know, Oprah's magazine. I think both have their amount of joy. How will you know when you have found your place or the place for your writing?
I approach this with whoever it's meant for will receive it. If someone's saying no, if someone's not liking it, that's not my intended audience. It wasn't for you. I have to be okay with that because I know it's not what I have to say isn't going to resonate with everyone, or they might not like the way I say it, or they might get that gut punch that they're not ready for because it might be kind of like holding up a mirror. And that's kind of how I look at it. If it's going to be accepted and celebrated, then that's home.
Kristina, that's so good. Because I'm just going to be honest. I don't know if you use Submittable, but sometimes your
Mhm,
format for writing, it doesn't fit the journal. It doesn't fit the magazine. It doesn't fit the format. And it can be a blow to your confidence. And you're right. If it's not accepted, then it doesn't belong there. And that's okay. There are so many
mhm.
spaces for our writing. And I think it's remarkable that you are bold enough to put it out there. Now, I'm going to just tell you this. This is what I believe. Even if pieces that are submitted by you, me, whoever, aren't accepted by the magazine, somebody had to read that piece.
Yes.
Some editor, some reviewer had to read your work.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're right. Sometimes it's a gut punch. And I'll go as far as to say sometimes it might be too much romance. Sometimes, quite honestly, it's too
Mhm,
black or it's too
mhm.
free verse. Some people want, your standard,
Yeah.
iambic pentameter, or they want sonnets. So sometimes
Mhm.
you're a little out of scope, but that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the quality of your work or
Right.
the sparkle of your work. It's just not your home. I hope that everybody watching this is listening because I'm gleaning something just from what you're saying. So thank you for that. How do you keep going? Like when you get a no, are you
Mhm.
affected by it or have you been doing this so long and just so resolved like it's not for me? Like how do you
I've definitely had moments where it's been like, oh, okay, that one hurt a little. There's also moments where it's just like, they crazy. Like, I just don't even,
Yes.
you don't see the value. I don't want to
Yes.
mess with y'all anyway. So,
Yes. Yes. All right. So tell us about your book.
whew, boy. So it is kind of a journey through my healing, basically. Just kind of all those thoughts that can come up when you are in a bad space. And so it's more related to experiences in love. It's funny because I kind of call it's my SOS.
I like that.
And SOS Sizzle went from like, hey, it's me, and then to, oh my God, I love him so much, right? And
Yes.
that's kind of what that is, where I'm better off without you. And then, the next poem might be, but wait, you were actually pretty great. I'm taking people on that ride with me. Also, hopefully, through that honesty and vulnerability, letting them see it's okay for you to have those highs and lows. Hopefully, we all know healing is not linear.
Not at
And,
all. Not at
so
all.
you could be on a high for 5 days and then a song comes on the radio and you're back down. Yet just me going through that healing and kind of saying, like, it's freeing to feel this and to be honest about where you are in your process. You'll be okay. You got to go through this to get to the other side and enjoy that ride, because there's definitely been times once I move past the situation and I'm in a better place, I am like, "Whew, I knew I could make it. I knew I could do this. Why was
Yes.
I ever doubting myself?" That's what it is.
For those of y'all who don't know, the book is entitled Intrusive Thoughts. Is this your first collection that you
Yes,
published?
it is.
Okay. I think I might know the answer, but I think your readers would want to know, like, how did you come up with that title?
I did initially for months, because I probably worked on this for about a year. And the title that I started with was Raw, because I was kind of like, I'm being very raw and honest. I'm just laying it all out there. But like as it came together and, I'm reading through it and, trying to get things organized, I could see some of these thoughts being a little disturbing. Like, oh, you thought that at that moment in time. And so it just kind of made sense to call it intrusive thoughts, those thoughts that just kind of pop into your head and, again, make you feel uncomfortable, make you question your sanity. But it's normal to experience that stuff when you're going through something. So we're fine, you guys. This is
Yes.
just
Yeah.
part of life.
I love the title. And I think it's just because of my random ass. The word intrusive is so
Mhm,
calming to me because it's exactly what you said. And seeing that as a title, it's like,
mhm.
oh, you too? Oh, yes. Because
Yeah.
those thoughts, they come without warning, particularly with love, romance, relationships, healing. They come out of nowhere. And they come before, during, and after.
Mhm,
And I know that readers are going to resonate and already have resonated, not only with the title, but it just all works together. The title, the shortness of your poems, and just identifying, hey, it's okay that these thoughts are intrusive. You're not alone. We're going to talk about them. And I almost feel a sense of, when I do the pieces that I've read on your socials, it's almost like you just let them fly. Like it's the thought comes and then it goes, and then there's another poem, and it comes and it goes. And
mhm.
this moment of connection that I feel with you in just reading a few lines of your work, it astounds me because not a lot of poets can do that. Not a lot of writers can do it. It just moves me in a way. I know I'm geeking out on you right now,
That's
but
the goal, though. So I'm happy to hear
yeah,
it.
it really does.
Why I do this.
Yeah, it moves me in such a way. I feel myself and you. In moments when I can't get a sense of myself, it's like there's some nuance of like aggression too, because there's some moments where like your lines take lead into emotion and I can
Mhm,
follow you into that. So if you are looking for those of you who are watching, if you're looking for a book that you're gonna feel something, this is definitely one of those books. And because of the title, it's one of those books you can pick up whenever you're feeling something. And I think that
mhm.
that is such a great tool to have in your writing to help, legacy, to help book sales, to help relevance. Did you strategically order the book in a way? Like, is it random, like how the poems are, or is there some intentionality behind them?
There is, for the beginning and the end. What's kind of in the middle of it is all the mess. I guess
Okay.
we'll call it all the. And the beginning is kind of like I am walking you into this with intrusive thoughts. Like, hey, I got these thoughts coming up. I don't want them to consume me. Here they are. And then what you'll see at the end is more calm.
Okay.
There is more understanding. There's more clarity there. And, at the end, it's just kind of like whatever happened, happened.
Mhm.
Whatever came up, came up. I am good. I am okay.
What would you say is your most vulnerable poem in Intrusive Thoughts? The one that probably you were more squeamish about, like you don't want people to read, it was the hardest to write, or the most sensitive you felt in releasing publicly?
I would say,
You have
what?
the book there with you?
Yeah, I have it here with me. Let me look because I really do. Okay, so I think Slumber is my most vulnerable poem. Can I read it?
Yes, please.
Just to, okay. One night as I slept, he wept and laid his burdens upon my chest. His hand rested against my raw flesh as he pressed down softly and scribbled his sins all over my skin. He covered my body, authored the tale of my ruin. Too late to stop him, no way to undo it. And so I say it's vulnerable, or like my most vulnerable poem, because sometimes when you are in love, it's a very vulnerable state, right? You're very open and raw, and kind of similar to when you're sleeping. Guards are down and everything. And so it's kind of like while I was sleeping, I was so in love. Somebody just came and just wrecked me. And I was defenseless. I had no idea what was going on. And now I'm just ruined.
Kristina, I can't with you. You just, oh, girl. Did y'all hear it? You lost me at scribbled his sin upon my skin. Like, who are you? Just, and even the title, and that's another thing too. Like, there's some
Mhm,
poets who don't title their work, some do, and some have really
mhm,
long titles. No shade to
mhm,
people that do. And I don't know if everything that comes out is intentional. But what I do
mhm,
know is that whatever is coming out, you have to be following a flow because it just all connects. When I think of the word slumber, it is very different than the word sleep. It's just different. To me,
mhm,
sleep is like you're out, rest. It's different. Slumber to me feels like a state of presence and not.
mhm,
Slumber is just, even like I remember growing up in church, they would say like God never sleeps nor slumbers. There's clearly a
mhm.
difference between
Right.
slumbering. And so the fact that you title it that, it just, before you even begin reading, it puts me in the mindset of a state that's almost lucid. I know that I'm
Mhm,
not awake. I know that I'm not tracking, that I am actually in something that's hurting me, but
mhm,
this love feels good, but I'm not aware of all. It just, the title, the length,
mhm.
the scribbled his sin upon my skin. It's just, you're very poetic. You are a poet from the rooter to the tutor, as they say. Like the way the words flow, you have a gift, and it is an honor to just experience you in life on earth because you got it, girl.
Thank
You
you.
got it. you
Thank
you do it for me.
you.
You're definitely in my top 10 of Black female poets. And I love this too, how you got your own lane. I know you mentioned earlier about, finding your tribe
Mhm,
and finding where your writing belongs.
mhm,
But, we have a lot of Nikki Giovanni's. We have a lot of those
mhm,
political, aggressive,
mhm,
women's rights. And you find your voice that is just as bold, but it's in acknowledgement and truth and honesty about
mhm,
your frailty. It's so beautiful to listen to read. Like, I love your work. So I want to know, like, is there going to be like intrusive thoughts too? Because I don't know about you, intrusive thoughts, I think it's
mhm,
coming and going my whole life. So
mhm.
do you think it's something that you will continue, or it's like, I'm done?
I think for my next collection, I think I
all
might
in
do
your
some.
business. Kristina, I'm all in your business.
I think I might do something a little lighter.
Okay, I get it. That's cool.
But we'll see what I might feel people out, the community, what's going on, and see if there's a need for something light. We always need help processing our feelings, and sometimes leaning into that darkness can help you do that. And so I can be quick and punchy with the dark stuff. And so I do
Okay.
I enjoy that. We'll see. I'm not quite sure because I don't think I'm going to release another collection until maybe next year.
Okay.
And so maybe in like the summer I'll start kind of seeing what's because like with this one, it was actually when I started putting it together, it had started as a chapbook. I was looking through like all my posts on Instagram and stuff that I hadn't shared, and I was like, I'm going to put together a chapbook because I wasn't sure if I was ready to commit to doing a full length collection. I told myself I'm going to submit the chapbook to 3 small presses, and if they say no, then I'm going to move forward with self-publishing and turn it into a full length collection. And so by then I had, shared a lot more, written a lot more. And so, two said no, one didn't even get back to me. So it just was kind of like, okay, well, we're moving forward with this plan. And,
Yep.
it just kind of came together.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe for the next one, I'm curious to see if it will just kind of fall in place the way
That's
this one
good.
did.
If someone watching this wants to get your book,
Mhm.
how can we do that?
It is available on Amazon. They can go on there.
I want to ask you something else. Well, I actually want to ask you a whole bunch, but what is life like in Wisconsin? You know I was going here, Kristina. I gotta know. Like, what is it like?
It is not cows and beer, as people might assume. I am in Milwaukee, so way more urban than the other parts of
Hey.
the state. Um, but I was born and raised here. I think it's a beautiful city. We get snow. Some people might not like that. We've got a great food scene, a very great art. We have a lot of creatives here. The community is really great at nurturing and supporting the artists here. So it's a nice place to be.
Okay. That's what's
I,
up.
I think so.
Shout out to Wisconsin. What's one piece of advice that you would share with any Black creative, anybody who's working on a book, or maybe somebody who's already published a book, but what would be your one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's
Mhm.
Black and creative?
I think it's important to find value in your work, even when other people struggle to. As a Black author, Black creator, and in whatever discipline, the onus is on you to continue to create. You are going to make sure those doors stay open, and you are going to potentially open doors for those after you. There's a lot of people who were the first in their areas to achieve things. They were met with a lot of rejection, a lot of people who did not value what they were doing. I don't think that that's a reason to stop. You got to find value in your own work.
I can't with you, Kristina. Girl, are y'all listening? I resonate with that completely. Oftentimes, we forget that these books, these words aren't going away. There are people who will read our stuff when we are gone. And it can be disheartening when you're not getting the shine or the fame or the doors. But like she said, you have to find a reason to keep going, and not a reason that's connected to anybody else. You have to find value in your work. One of the ways that I find value is what you touched on at the top of our conversation. Writing is healing. Expression is healing. And as long as I'm continuing to express and continuing to write, I am contributing to my own overall health, whether one person or a million people read my book. And it becomes, I know for me right now, it's getting pretty addictive. I'm not writing for a book. I'm writing for myself. And then at the end of it, I kind of like, okay, like you said, it comes together. Let me put a little bit of this. Okay, Rumi, this is what it's going to be. But I resonate completely with what you said. And I want to also add that this is very important for women. Very, very, very important. And in our climate in America, we're going to have to use our power, Kristina.
Yes.
We're going to have to use our words. We're going to have to use our social media. We're going to have to use our expression to soothe, to call attention to resonate and build a connection point with each other. And I think it's important what you said. And my heart is hopeful that the people watching this will listen and come back to it because it means something. You're not just, some random person on the street. You're out here with a book, with opportunities. You're in the mud with us.
Yeah.
And it matters. I don't know about you, but it matters to me.
Yeah.
Someone on the front line saying, hey, Rumi, you need to do this versus somebody who's sitting in their comfortable home. Like,
right.
You're out here with us. And so I am so grateful for your insight, so grateful for your perspective. Like, girl, you just do it for me. I don't even know what to say. I know, like you just, from your writing to your mind, I really enjoy your energy. I really enjoy your work. And I know we're just in 2025, but I'm already excited about 2027 because hopefully we'll be getting another book from you.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what is in the future for me. Of course, I'm gonna try to be intentional about things, but when I first started in 2023, there the thought of a collection wasn't even in my mind.
Wow.
And so I eventually got there. I feel like it is important to say I didn't always find value in what I was doing or what I was saying. I think sometimes people want things sugar coated, they want it sweet, and that's not me. And so there was kind of like, oh, I don't know how people are going to receive this. And so the more I shared my work, the more I did find the value in it because I know it was helping me. But, you know, like I said, the other percent or reason that I was doing this was to help others. And so it was helpful to see that I was achieving that.
I hope y'all heard that. The more you share your work, the more value you find. Kristina, that's what I see for Black Author Brand. I
Mhm.
see a community, and that's what we're building. Like, okay, sure. Yeah, we got shirts. That's cool. That's fine. We are creating a community where people can
Mhm.
come and find confidence, find ideas, find
Mhm.
support, find elbows and shoulders to rub up against to say, girl, you
Mhm.
struggling too? I like that line you did. Like it is so important to have that. And you're a part of our community. I'm gonna go ahead and you in here, whether you like it or not. You're part of the
Hey.
Black Author Brand community. And we need your voice. It is impactful
Mhm.
and meaningful. And I am so honored to have had this time with you. I don't think this is going to be our last interview, Kristina, because I enjoy your perspective. I do,
Mhm.
particularly because I think there's a lot that you can share with women about how we lean into vulnerability. And so y'all be on the lookout. Rumi and Kristina might be on another interview just talking about vulnerability in the writing process. Yes, we can have
Mhm.
poems that are vulnerable, but I wonder the things that you went through, to make the collection come together, some
Yeah.
of the challenges you had behind the scenes. I know people would love to hear that.
Mhm.
I would love to hear that. I hope, that down the line that we will have a chance to talk again. Where can we
Yes,
connect with you?
absolutely.
For real? Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yes, I enjoyed this conversation and I am so appreciative of you creating this space for Black authors is so needed. It's so needed. Having that community that can give you that push
Yeah.
to be like, you know what, let me go ahead and pursue this. And,
Yes.
because sometimes when people, I think when they look at writing or being authors, they look at some of the greats and they
Yes.
might like, I don't know if I can do that. But
Mhm.
it's like, just start, just
Yep.
do it. Go ahead and,
Do it. Start.
Yes.
How can we connect with you personally? Like, what's your socials? Where are you most often on social media?
I am on TikTok sometimes. I be
Okay.
lurking or like swiping, I don't
Yes.
I'll post TikToks of my poetry. I've been trying to be more consistent with it, but I'm mostly on Instagram. And so that is Kristina Byas underscore Kristina Byas underscore.
Okay. We'll put it somewhere here on the screen for sure.
Okay,
I
cool.
want to thank you guys so much for tuning in for Poet Spotlight with Rumi Ryan, Kristina Byas. And until next time, we'll see y'all. We see you, Black authors. We love you, Black authors. Keep writing.